You have to be D-Rex, apparently. Can you hear Rob on live? You can hear me, but you can't hear
Well, I...
Balls. Can you hear Luke?
I'm saying something now.
Yeah, he's talking.
I'm talking.
Right.
We need the Rocky theme song. It's stuck in my head for some reason. The Rocky theme song.
So we live now, or is this just like pre-show? Yeah, I mean, even if no one enters, I guess we'll just do it, and this will be the show for the week because it gets recorded, right? Yeah. Don't.
Damn it.
So this is episode 6, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think this is one behind. Because technically, this is our next week's episode. Well, this coming week. Stop it.
Ow! You could cut me open with that shit.
You only just look like a face with really bushy eyebrows. Um, yeah, I guess we'll just yeah. Who do we get? Uh, yes. I think you might have to be logged in. I don't know. It's gonna sound strange because they can't hear you, so I'm talking to myself right now.
Means Rob could just be saying random stuff the whole time, just to put us off.
Oh no, my Tumblr went down. So like 3 minutes. Yeah. Were you expecting something better? They always seemed really staged for me. Like, huh, that's interesting. I was about to question Rob for going to get a beer, and I'm like, I could drink too, but it's still pretty early for me. And I'm like, holy crap, it's already 5. What am I doing with my life?
Yeah, if I started drinking now, I'd probably be called an alcoholic. It's like 10 o'clock.
Again, you live in Madriva. You can do that. Trust me, your neighbors are already drinking. Okay, so I just start now. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Battle Bros. This is episode 6. Uh, can't believe it's been 6 weeks already. I'm Toxic. Here with me is Savage. Say hi, Savage.
Howdy.
Okay, so this week is our live show. Well, for the people that are joining us in chat right now, it's a live show. For everyone else, it is just a regular show. So what we have planned today is we'll answer some questions from chat room, and we'll also go over the new Damon's Codex or Demon's Codex for 40k, because this is a 40k show. We don't do fantasy here. Initial opinions on the Codex, Savage?
I thought it was pretty good. I like a lot of the new models they brought out too.
Okay, it's pretty good. That's a wrap. Thanks, guys. No, kidding.
Yep. See you later.
Can you enlighten
Uh,
us on what was pretty good about it?
the Codex. um,
It's
no,
at this point in a non-live show where I'll just stop the recording and do this again.
no, I like the new models. The rules are pretty good. I like that you don't have to deep strike anymore to bring your army in, which is amazing.
Yeah, I like that they give you that option because it's like
Yeah,
some units work better with that deep striking rule. Some units work better just running on the field. I played a game with some Seekers of Slaanesh. I ran a 20 unit with a Herald. They have the outflanking rule, so I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. I'll have them outflank. Turns out you can't assault when you outflank now, apparently. So they ran out, did nothing, got charged by 15 Hellions, and got wiped out without doing anything. So demons
wow.
are one of those armies that you really got to think about your reserve roles.
Yeah.
Uh, so before we go on any further with the demon stuff, I did get one question from chat room about the Dark Angels chapter relics. So I'm quickly going to flip to them in my codex. Um, I know that you don't have the Dark Angels codex, and you're probably not familiar with them. Have you? You know, am I wrong? Do you know anything about them?
No.
Well, you saw me use it in one game, correct?
Maybe.
Yeah, the Monster Slayer of Caliban.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, bear with me while I find it. Okay, so here we go. So basically, in the new 6th edition codexes, they're bringing up a lot more. How would you call it? Because what was it called in the Chaos one? They were like,
The boon table.
no,
No.
it was like specific like weapons that were almost like named characters in themselves, like named weapons that you
Uh,
could take.
um, like oh, chaos artifacts. That's it.
Yeah. So basically, in the new 6th edition codex, that they've kind of been adding these in, um, and they're like special named weapons that you can take for different characters. So the Dark Angels ones, they have uh, basically they got like a couple of swords, well, a couple of melee weapons, one ranged weapon, and then one kind of miscellaneous just war gear piece. So they got the Foe Smiter, and that is, from what I can tell, that's actually a ranged weapon. So they have two ranged weapons and then two melee weapons. Foe Smiter Lion's Roar, which is a combi plasma, but it's actually instead of it being a combi plasma gun, it's more like a plasma cannon because it shoots once per game. It can shoot a blast. That's pretty crazy. But the ones I'm going to mention are the Mace of Redemption, which is AP3 plus 3 to your strength, and it goes at your initiative. It also has Bane of the Traitor and Blind and Concussive. What that means is that if you do take a wound from it, you do have a chance to have your initiative reduced to 1, and if you do take a wound from it, you're definitely going at... Oh, I got this two mixed around. Concussive is you definitely go down to initiative 1 when you lose a wound. Blind is you roll an initiative check, and if you fail that, you go down to weapon skill, ballistic skill 1. That's pretty insane. Most of the time, you're probably going to be using it. It's going to be on guys that have 1 wound anyway, so they're going to be just dying. The big thing about this weapon is it is strength at plus strength 3, so you're going at strength 7 for most of your characters, and it's at your initiative. So you're kind of getting like a power fist that strikes at initiative. It's only AP3, not too bad. The ones that I've used is the Monster Slayer of Caliban, and that one is it's a D6 roll to see what stat it goes each combat. The big one here is on a 5 or a 6, it has the instant death special rule and gives you +2 strength at AP3. So great for taking down monstrous creatures. I did fight a monstrous creature with it, however, I rolled the 2 to a 4, which is it only gives me +1 strength at AP3. Still managed to kill it though. And then if you roll a 1, it's only AP3 strength user melee weapon, so it's just a basic power weapon. These things are costly and they do cost a lot. For example, the Monster Slayer of Caliban is about 45 points, and that's pretty insane for a war game, would you say?
Oh, yeah, probably. Considering like your Power Fist is normally pretty pricey, like 25.
Yeah, like you can get a Thunder Hammer for like what, 30?
Yeah,
You know, so it's a pretty big gamble considering you're only getting that instant death on a 5 or a 6 roll. And I did
yeah.
fail that roll and I got a 2 to a 4. I did roll lucky and managed to kill the Turbogon, but it's one of those things that I think all of them are good. I like the Shroud of Heroes, which gives you Feel No Pain special rule, and if the wearer of that is not in a unit, it gets the Shrouded special rule. So that's kind of cool. You can make like this little independent character running around the field just messing shit up. But what I think on them, my opinion on them is that they're great. You just have to have an idea of what you're using them for. When I took the Monster Slayer of Caliban, I knew I was coming up against Tyranids, so that's the weapon that I wanted. It all depends on how you're going to be running that character. I wouldn't just give one to a character if I just wanted it because it looks cool. I would kind of have an idea of what role he's playing, and that's kind of my opinion on them. Savage, what's your opinion on these type of wargames just in general? Like,
Um, I like them. Some of them are good. Some of them are kind of like a miss, I guess.
yeah, how
But
do you find the Chaos ones?
um, I do like them. They're a little bit different because some of them you need to take special marks for. Like you need to have like a mark of corn or something like that to take some of them. But they're pretty good. Like the one I've used before in the Chaos one is the Active Blind Fury, which you need to have the mark of corn for. But they do all have pretty good like special rules with them and stuff.
Yeah, Rob just said something in the chat that it's kind of like how fantasy characters get to have like their kind of special weapons and stuff. And from what I've played of fantasy, it basically is that. But but in 40k, you're more limited in fantasy. I'm pretty sure in fantasy the rulebook itself has weapons that any army can kind of pick from.
Yeah.
The Demons Codex kind of does it a little bit different. They don't, but the Demons Codex is kind of different from any other codex I've seen in 40k. Uh, it's really interesting. They just give you so much stuff, but we'll get into that later. Let's kind of start at the start. Where have you read any of the fluff from this new codex? Since that's
Not
how it
yet.
starts. It's a full color hardback book. It'll set you back $50 in America. How much did you have to pay for it over in Australia?
I don't want to talk about
Well, it's a top show, so you
83.
kind of have to talk about it.
$83.
So it's set up basically like normal codexes. You get your fluff first. I've kind of read a little bit of it, but that's not really what people want to hear generally. But the fluff is there. They give you a decent amount on each god. I think each god has about 2 pages. You have some basically how other codexes do it, where they give you some wars that demons have fought in, and they give you like a timeline, and they have a little bit. They have a little bit on Grey Knights there as well, and then it jumps. So that takes you to about page 24, and then you jump straight into uh, basically the special rules. So do you want to go over some of the special rules and what you think on them?
Yeah, so you'd start off with the demons of like Khorne and Zeech and whatever. They all have their own special rules. So the demon of Khorne is a special that gives you more special rules. It's like your Khorne one, it gives you the demon furious charge and hatred demons of Slaanesh special rule, and chariots with this rule resolve the hammer and rat hits at strength 7. So that's pretty decent.
Yeah, so these demons of, whatever god, like you said, they're special rules that give you access to more special rules, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so carry on.
Right. Are we going through all of these? Yeah.
I will go through all the demons rules. We might just skim over some of the other special rules, but go through all the demon ones, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So your Zinch ones, you get the demon and hatred, demon of no special rule. And when manifesting psychic powers, demons of Zinch have a +3 modifier to their leadership. And in addition, demons of Zinch reroll all saving throws from a 1. So that's pretty good if you are playing Zinch and you like your psychic powers.
Well, if you're running Zinch, you're going to be probably having psychic powers anyway. That's
Yeah,
just
that's
what they
the
do.
way you take Zinch, yeah.
Yeah.
Demons of Nurgle have the demon hatred of Zinch, special rule, shrouded and slow and purposeful. In addition, units that are composed entirely of demons of Nurgle are treated as having defensive grenades. So that's alright, I guess. Demons of Slaanesh have the demon fleet hatred, demons of Khorne and rending special rules. In addition, units composed entirely of demons of Slaanesh run an addition of 3 inches. This would normally be d6 plus 3 inches. Units that are entirely composed of cavalry units instead run an additional 6 inches. Vehicles that are not walkers move an extra 3 inches when they move flat out instead.
Okay, cool. So we got a question saying, since they have hatred, does that count towards Chaos Marines with that mark? From what I can tell, no, because it says hatred, demons of Slaanesh, or hatred, demons of no. So,
but if you took a demon prince or something, a new chaos list, and
yeah,
it was like Khorne, and then you're playing against Slaanesh demons.
yeah. So just looking over those, which one do you think is the best? Do you
The
see a
Zinch
clear
one.
winner? You think
Yeah,
the Zinch
Zinch.
one? Why is that?
Yeah. You get +3 to your leadership when you're making psychic power rolls, which is pretty insane. So really, if you have like,
See, I would have said Zinch if they also had one that let their invulnerable save get pushed up to 4.
yeah,
That's how I would have said they were the best then. For me, it's a mixture between Nurgle and Slaanesh. The reason why I say Slaanesh is because they have that extra run of a 3 inch, and for cavalry they get an extra 6.
yeah,
That's amazing. Because I played a game the other day where I just used Slaanesh demons, and they were so just super quick on getting to the objectives, getting where I wanted them to go. They're fragile, kind of like all demons are, but that's pretty amazing. And then you also add in rending. So
yeah,
so rending, you're looking at being able to, injure tanks if you have to. Uh, if you get enough attacks on Terminators, you're shredding through Terminator armor.
yeah. I'd say Slaanesh should be the second for me.
And then for me, after that, Nurgle, mostly because they have, where is it called? Defensive grenades are pretty big. Not allowing your opponent charge attacks, pretty amazing. What else did I see? The shrouded rule. I'm pretty sure that's 2+ to your cover save. So already in the open, you're at a 5+ cover save. I know they have a 5+ invulnerable save anyway, so that's not where it really matters. But let's say you jump into a crater that's giving you a 5+. Now you're looking at a 3+.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a 3+ to in most cover. That seems pretty amazing to me. The downside to that is they have slow and purposeful, so they're a little bit slower. Khorne, I don't know. There's not much to say about Khorne. There's no real surprises there. They're always going to get something that makes them better in close combat.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like with the Zinch one. Like you take the Fate Weaver, who's got leadership 9. You making psychic powers, you're adding 3, so you've got 12. So you can't fail a psychic power at all.
Well, you can still fail it by rolling double 6s, but yeah, it's
If your leadership's 12 though.
Yeah, but the rule is, I'm pretty sure that it's just if you roll double 6s, you have the you're still passing it, but
you still
but you're losing that you're losing the wound.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I think double 6s might actually be you just fail. Because
Okay.
I know for characteristic tests, even if your characteristic is higher than six is an automatic fail.
Okay.
Again, I'm not too sure, and I'm not going to spend the time going through the rule book on that one.
Yeah, I'll have to
Um,
have a look later then.
so we'll move on to the Warlord traits. We won't go through them all, but is there anything that kind of because we talked about this in previous episodes of Battle Bros where we kind of said, well, Warlord traits are pretty amazing for the new sixth edition codexes, and that kind of meh for everyone else. Is there anything in the Demons one that you kind of pops out and you think's pretty amazing?
Probably the first one, which is Death Incarnate, which gives your warlords melee weapons instant death. So that means if you're still just running like a herald or something, you still got a chance of taking down something like a captain or something like that.
Yeah, um, that's pretty. That is pretty amazing, the instant death rule. Again, I'm not too sold on the instant death rule because most of the models that you're going to be fighting have one wound.
Yeah,
But I have been in situations where that has just been kind of the big turning point in a game where I've been like up against Tyranids and I'm just getting destroyed by monstrous creatures and I get a lucky roll on a force weapon and instant kill them. So
yeah.
that's pretty amazing.
But to me, this warlord traits is probably like the weakest out of the three for what you get in it. So all the others are pretty meh.
I don't know. I think they fit for the demons, and I think
Oh yeah,
if you look at them for any other army, they all kind of crap. But you're looking at being able to reroll on the Warp Storm table. That is pretty insane because there's a lot of bad effects on that table for your army, and being able to reroll that kind of gives you a little more breathing room to get
yeah,
some better rolls. Letting you reroll demonic instability tests for units within 12 inches of your warlord. Again, that's doesn't seem like much, but if you're rolling uh, double sixes and you just lost your whole unit, and now you get to re-roll that, you know,
yeah.
uh,
I
you
agree
know,
that definitely it fits the demons, but like from what was seen from like the chaos and the dark angels ones, it just seems a little bit. Well, of course, it's going to be different though because it is demons.
so I kind
So
of mentioned demonic instability in the Warp Storm table. Demonic instability is basically their version of taking a morale check. It's whenever you're in. It's yeah. So you're basically fearless. However, when it comes to close combat, if you fail, you take a leadership check. On double ones, you get all the casualties you took in that combat now basically come back to life and join that combat again. On double sixes, you're banished and the whole unit gets taken away. On anything else, if it passes your leadership, nothing happens. If you fail and get over your leadership, it kind of reverts back to the old fearless rule where if you that you lose units for what you went over. So you roll your leadership, you fail, you go over your leadership. That's how many casualties extra you take. Um, it's it's I don't know my thoughts on this yet because when I used it, the only time I had to take it, I rolled double sixes and lost my whole unit. What's your opinion on this?
um, I reckon it fits with them. Like it is. I don't know. It's this. That's the thing with this Predator is it's a lot different from like this Chaos Marines and Dark Angels, but I think it fits in there, and it does give you like you automatically pass fear, pinning, and morale tests as well.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it would have been awesome if they just had just they were just fearless, but I like the rule in a sense of a fluff um kind of standpoint, but I think yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see, but I can kind of see that maybe demons won't be maybe like a tournament army. I don't. I don't really know the minds of tournament players, but from me, if I'm going to be taking a list into a tournament, I don't want so many variables.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely like an iffy kind of
Yeah,
rule.
because double ones, that's amazing. You get your unit back.
Yeah, but then double sixes, you lose the whole thing. So
Yeah, and I did roll that, so go figure.
yeah, can you get something that you can re-roll on that? Yeah,
Yeah, one of the warlord
warlord trait.
traits.
Yeah, so
So that's kind of that's how that warlord trait's kind of awesome. So we also mentioned the Warp Storm table. Have you been over this?
had a quick skim of it. I haven't gone into depth with anything that happens except like for the first two and the last two.
Okay, so what's your opinion on it?
I like it.
Well, you want to explain a little bit what it is first and how this gets used?
Okay, so at the start of each of your shooting phases, you roll 2d6, and then you just check that table for the results, and it'll either have an effect or like a special ability or something like that that happens. So what it is like apparently when demons in the real world, there's always a warp storm around. So this is their kind of way of putting that like the fluff part into the game. So I don't know. I haven't really read too much of it yet, but
Yeah, so I've had a brief like read through of this list, and it seems like what's there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 results, and I've kind of seen from what I can tell, it's basically 50% of them are bad for you and 50% of them are good for you.
there's 12.
Uh, there is 11 because there's no one. You can't roll a one on
Oh yeah,
2d6.
shh, I can count.
So yeah, so like from what I can tell, 50% of them are basically bad for you. 50% of them are relatively good for you. Some of them are, you get demons summoned in from that are not part of your army list, so basically free units. Um, Other things are, all demon units have to take a demonic instability test, which if you roll badly, you could lose a couple of units right there.
Yeah. See, it says in that one that you just mentioned, it's friendly or foe as well. So you could take out if you're playing demons against demons.
Yeah, that's kind of something I thought about. Does the Chaos Demon Prince, does he have demonic instability? Because that rule wasn't
Uh,
out when that codex came out. So
oh,
does
in the Chaos Codex,
yeah.
I don't think he does.
Yeah, because well the rule wasn't out then, so I don't see how is that going to be added in? Does the Demon Prince in this book even have it? Like the Demon Prince in this one does. You think that's going to be
He
added in for the Demon Prince in Chaos Space Marines?
maybe. I, it could be. I don't see them changing that.
Well, I think it's a bit unfair to have a demon prince in one that suffers this rule, and then you have a demon in another one that has another rule.
True, but yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see what happened, but I don't
Okay.
think they'd change it.
Okay, well, let's just move on. That's basically all the special rules that they have. And then it comes to the units that you can actually get in the codex, and they have it split up in Chaos God. So you go through and you get all your Khorne ones, and then you get all your Tzeentch ones, and then you get all your Nurgle ones, then you get your Slaanesh ones. Not going to go through them all. Just tell us a few that pop into your mind when that really stand out to you.
I don't know which one you don't like too much either. Is the Bloodthirster?
I don't. It's not that I don't like him.
You
I don't
don't like that?
understand his ballistic skill 10.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
he's a beast in close combat, but I'm not. I don't not like him.
Well, yeah, I know that you don't like his ballistic skill
Yeah.
though. It doesn't make sense, but
Okay, so
yeah,
why do you like him? Why does he pop out to you?
because he's corn. And I don't know, he's got some pretty the what am I trying to say here?
I
His
don't know.
axe. Yeah, I'm just one word. No, his axe is pretty good. His
Well, I'll
melee
make it
weapon.
easier for you. If this pops out for you, why would you take him? And don't just say because he's con.
Damn, that was my answer.
Like
Because he's good and
what
close.
role are you gonna bring him in? Like what
Smash
role are
in
you taking?
face.
Yeah, so he pops out to you because he's an insane close combat character. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And he is. He's got 10 weapon skill, 10 ballistic skill. He's strength 6, toughness 6, wounds 5, initiative 9, attack 6, leadership 9, and he has a 3 up save. He's also a flying monstrous creature. So he's in your face basically turn 1, turn 2.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to go into why he has ballistic skill 10? No. Yeah.
Because he has a whip.
Yeah.
Because he has a shooting attack that's a whip.
Yeah. Which me and Toxic both agree it doesn't really make sense. Like, just make the lash like a melee weapon or something. But
Just
or
say that the
goes off
attacks,
his weapon skill.
yeah, that the whip goes off his weapon skill. Because I mean, it's not going to happen. But does that mean that technically you can have this bloodthirster of Khorne sitting on a quad gun, you know, destroying flyers as they come in? It's just I don't know. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But let's move on. What's another couple of units that kind of stand out to you? And I will
Uh,
punch you in the nose if you start reading out every Khorne unit.
blood letters. Um, and I'm trying to find
Okay, well I'll say one right now, and this one,
that the Seekers
yeah,
of Slip. I know. Seeker
it's
Chariot of Slanesh. Yeah.
yes, but more importantly, it is that you can take them in squads of 3.
Yeah.
Why is that amazing? Well, because you can take the Seeker Chariots in squads of 3. They're only 40 points, so it's 120 points for 3 of them. They get D6 Hammer of Wrath attacks at what was it like Shrink 4 rending.
Something like that. Yeah.
You get D6 of them per hull point. The Seeker Chariot has 2 hull points, so if you can get a full unit of 3 with all their hull points, you're getting 6d6 Shrink 4 rending attacks, and Hammer of Wrath is initiative 10 before the combat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, you
It
can
gets
also
better.
take you can
Yeah.
also take the Exalted Chariots, which is 75 points. So you're looking at a little bit more. You're looking at 200 and something for a squad of 3. They have 4 hull points, so now each one is getting 4d6 Strength 4 rending. So that's 12. 12 Strength 4 d6 rending attacks at initiative 10 when you go into combat. That there is amazing to me. I kind of lean more towards the Seeker Chariots just because they're so cheap.
Yeah.
120 points for this unit just to run around and kind of get in people's faces.
Yeah. The way that you could look at it is you just take 2 squads of them if you really wanted, like for the same amount of points.
Yeah, I'd probably still only take one because there's still other heavy support choices that I would want to add in there, like maybe 2 Soul Grinders.
Yeah, they're pretty deadly.
So what's another unit that kind of comes out to you, stands out that you would take it in your demons list every time?
Every time. Maybe Blood Crushers, maybe Pink Horrors. Yeah.
Yeah, why do you say that?
I don't know, it just really depends on which way you want to play. Because to me, I haven't played demons before in the old codex, but this one seems like you're really better off picking one like god and sticking with it for your whole army.
Yeah, I kind of would say like you don't want to get more than 3 gods personally. I'd probably have maybe 2,
Yeah, 2 would be my max, but
and then mostly because when you start looking at four, I think you're just one, if you're a competitive player and you're painting this army up and you're taking it to a tournament, um, all those colors are gonna, you know, it's gonna bring you down a little bit in painting than just like than a unified army. Even if it's painted up to an amazing standard, it just it's not gonna look as nice. That point was kind of brought up on some article I read, and I kind of really agreed with that because demons do look kind of like a rainbow if you're playing all of them.
Yeah.
Secondly, I would say two, just because you have you got I don't remember how to word this, but they've added so much stuff that they've really made like mono builds viable because you can basically do everything with uh
Yeah.
yeah, you can basically do everything with each god. I think most of the general troops can actually take on tanks because I know demonettes have rending, so they can take on tanks. Plague bearers, they have a special rule that lets them glance on a 6-up in close combat to a vehicle. And I think what uh, bloodletters with furious charge, they could probably do some damage to a vehicle. Yes.
Yeah. There's maybe there's strength 4, so you'd be strength 5. So
So yeah, you could
yeah,
easily
11. Yeah.
because most back armor on tanks is 10.
Yeah.
And then what are the other ones called? Pink horrors.
Uh,
They get to roll for a different psychic power, so you could potentially roll a anti-tank psychic power for them. So the
yeah.
way that I kind of see it is each mono build kind of has, I don't want to say the same things, but you can find units to fill every role. So I think
Yeah.
mono builds really are viable, better than what they were in the old codex. I think we'll still see people running mixed demons because I don't know. It's just what
I don't.
people will just see units that they'll like and be like, well, I need that one and I need that one, and not see, well, I can still have a mono build, a more of a fluffy army by taking this unit and that unit.
Yeah. Uh, this definitely, like, to me, it feels like a horde kind of army.
Yeah, well, you're looking at about 9 points for your troop each, and they can be taken in squads of 20.
Yeah.
And demons are very fragile. A 5-up invulnerable save sounds amazing, but it's only a 5-up save, and you're
Yeah.
mostly toughness.
4, 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like it really, to me, it seems similar to like the NIDS Codex, where you have like big, heavy hitting units in like your HQs, your heavy support, and then your troops are like pretty much there. Like there's not many of them to take, and they're not the strongest things, but you can
Okay.
take a lot of them.
We got a question about a new Lord of Change model. As far as I can tell, they still just have the older one. But I
Yeah,
think that
I've seen it.
I think it's Finecast now.
Yeah,
When I brought mine, it was not Finecast. It was
yeah,
metal, and that thing is spindly and just infuriating to put together.
yeah,
Um, the Finecast, I'm assuming, will be a lot easier. And then we also got saying that Forge World has better graded demons. What are your opinions
yes.
on Forge World's graded demons?
They're a lot better,
Do you have
especially
one?
like no, but
If they're a lot better, why don't you have one?
because they're a lot more expensive. The one that I
Well,
want
that's it.
anyway.
They're a lot more expensive, yes.
Well, I definitely, if I was playing Nurgle, I would get the great. I think it's the great unclean one
Yeah.
from 412 because The one from Games Workshop just looks like a bunch of mush.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot better. I like the Slaanesh one a million times better than the Games Workshop one. Um, but let's talk about your um, demon that you got from a third party company.
Oh, Ultra Forge.
Yeah, Ultra Forge.
That, yeah,
They are
it,
basically kind of like the Games Workshop. I mean the Forge World models, kinda, but they're a bit cheaper.
yeah, they're made out of resin. They're
Uh-huh.
they're fairly big. Like if you compare it to like your normal demon prints, it's probably double the size. And I think it only cost me $80, and the Demon Prince model from Games Workshop was 55.
Yeah, I linked chat room to the War Store, and the Greater Demons are about $54 there.
Yeah, I
Um,
would
you
definitely.
you're not going to be able
Uh,
to you're not going to be able to take these to a Games Workshop, obviously, and play them.
no, but if you're playing with friends and stuff, I reckon they're a lot better. Or I wouldn't say better, but that
They're very big, aren't they?
yeah, they stand a bit bigger. Than,
Um,
so I
so what
definitely
you're saying is, let's see where this is going. Don't play a Games Workshop. Um, no. But if you're gonna don't play at Games Workshop if you're gonna be using these other models.
yeah. That's the one downside is you buy these and you can't use them. So I
Um,
ended up buying a normal Demon Prince anyway, a Games Workshop one.
I can hear like Rob laughing and uh, yeah. I'm not saying don't play Games Workshop, but um, well maybe
You're
don't
saying
play Shop. But yeah, there's alternatives to the Greater Demons, and they look similar. They're a bit cheaper, and that like I saw you put that thing together. It was good quality. There was little flash, not really many mold lines, like no bubbles in the resin or anything.
no, it's pretty easy. It's only like it was like 9 pieces or something.
Hmm.
It comes with like a little. The only thing it doesn't come with is like monstrous creature base, but it comes with like a little scenic rock thing to sit in on, I guess.
Yeah, that's not too much of a big deal. Okay, so I think
Yeah.
we've gone over that topic. If unless chat room has any more questions, we'll move on in this codex. So we've kind of gone over what units stand out to us. Um, Savage stumbled through what stood out to him.
Are they them? What does it mean? In the chat.
I have no idea. Um, let's see. Allies, are they them? Are you bringing demon allies? I, I don't know. Savage, like, would you consider bringing demon allies for your chaos?
Yeah, I reckon they're pretty good. I'd take like if I was going to take some and I wanted to be really mean, I'd probably take like the Bloodthirster and um, Demon Princes are now HQ choices, but when you take like a special character like the Bloodthirster, Lord of Change or something, they change the Demon Prince into a heavy support.
So what you're telling me is you would go Bloodthirster, small unit of Bloodletters, and then a Demon Prince?
Yeah, and then probably take a Demon Prince from the Chaos book as well. If I was,
So you could take potentially have three Demon Princes on the field?
yes.
So
And
you would
then,
have four flying monstrous creatures? So you could have
yeah,
Bloodthirster with three con Demon Princes with him?
yeah, which would, yeah, definitely hurt.
That's scary. My idea for a allies for demons would be to have a 20-man unit of demonettes and just probably deep strike them later on in the game because they're so fast they can run to those objectives later on in the game and just cause trouble. I'd probably maybe put it in a Soul Grinder because he can shoot at flyers now. So that would probably be my heavy support. For an HQ, usually for my allies, I like to take a cheap HQ. So I'd probably just be looking at a Herald.
The Heralds are still pretty good.
Yeah, well, you can get. This is what I know for allies, is that for allies you can only take one HQ, but Heralds you can take, what is it, 4 for each one HQ slot?
Yeah, I think so.
So you can take, what, four Heralds in an allies list?
Yeah.
Yeah, Heralds for every HQ slot you can take 4 Heralds, so you can have potentially 8 in. Yeah. And if you're at 2,000 points, that's 16 Heralds. Stop, stop finding links to fantasy. No, but yeah, I think that's kind of what it is that you just have like all these. I kind of like the idea of because you can get independent characters and make your make like a little independent character squad. I like the idea of having maybe like a named character with some heralds in a squad.
Yeah,
Because like
they can.
yeah, because you could have like you could have your your main HQ, your warlord, and then have 4 heralds as his squad.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Another thing on that is that when you go to that post where it's not the post to the book, when you go to the section, it says the Heralds of Chaos, and the Heralds of Chaos they actually have named heralds. So, Skull Taker, what's that guy's called again that I can't pronounce?
Karanak.
Karanak, the Changeling, Epidemus, they are all heralds, so they count towards that 4 option. So
Yeah. If you want to run them as a squad, they have to all be the same alignment, though.
yeah. Okay. Oh, I also just read that it's each primary detachment in your army, so you can't have 4 heralds in your allied. But yeah, I have kind of seen I have seen some controversy on the internet about that, like what's considered a herald, because you have these heralds of chaos and it has the names of certain heralds, and then you look under it and there's names that aren't in there, like the blue scribes. Are they a herald? They're under the herald thing. They're in with all the heralds, but they're not in the list of heralds. Also, I think what's this Slaanesh named character herald? She's not in there either. Does that mean that she's not a herald? So that's kind of one of the controversies I've seen on the internet.
Well, it says Heralds of Chaos. Each primary detachment in your army may include up to 4 Heralds of Chaos chosen in any combination from the following models, and it gives you those names.
Yeah, I know, but then look under that it has Skull Taker, whatever that guy's name is, Herald of Khorne, the Changeling, and then it has blue scribes. Then under that, it has the Herald of Tzeentch. So it's listing all the heralds, but it's showing stuff that isn't in that list.
Yeah.
Why would the blue scribes and why would the Slaanesh named character herald be in with all the heralds, but then not be added in that list? Did Games Workshop miss that out, or I don't, like if they're not heralds, then why are they not in with all the regular HQs?
Because they're a herald. Yeah, I can see it, but it's because they're not like big HQs.
They're not what?
Big HQs.
Yeah, I know, but they're in a herald section. Like it's bad planning.
It's not a herald section. It doesn't say.
It's basically a herald section, Heralds of Chaos, and then you have
basically.
You have
basically.
no, listen. You have it has the Khorne guys. It's got Skulltaker, that Karaknak, whatever his name is, Herald of Khorne, and then so that's the Khorne ones. And then you go to the Tzeentch ones. You got the Changeling, Blue Scribes, Herald of Tzeentch. The only difference is the Blue Scribes that are in the middle of two heralds are not on the list of heralds that you can take in that four rule. And then you have the noble
But then
ones.
they're not heralds, though. They're just like
But then why
guys
put
on.
them there? Why put them there? Why cause confusion by putting them there? It's just
It's not
poor planning.
confusing. It's
It
not
is
confusing.
if
They
people are posting it on the internet, it's confusion. If people are
well, that,
writing in for FAQs for to Games Workshop, then there's obviously confusion.
well, then they're just stupid because it
I
clearly
I think
lists
that
all the HQ. It clearly lists all the heralds in that list. So it's not on the
it
list.
clearly puts
It's
them
not
all on
as
the list. No, I don't. I think
yeah.
like I think
It
that
puts them
it's
all in
stupid.
that list. So if it's not on that list, it's not a herald.
And then so then if it's not a herald, don't put them in between heralds. Put them in before that post where it says Heralds of Chaos.
Yeah, I agree with that. That it's not. It's in a poor place, but it's not confusing. It gives you a list of what's a herald and what's. If it's not on that list, it's not a herald.
So you're telling me that the named Slanesh character that looks like a herald isn't a herald of Slanesh?
Well, that's what Games Workshop says.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they come back and then they say that we were wrong and they FAQ it to be a herald.
Yeah, but we're talking about Blue
Because
Scribe.
Blue Scribes and I'm talking about the mask whatever it is the Mascure of Slanesh. I don't know how to pronounce it, but you know the one. The named character Slanesh of that named Slanesh character that looks like a herald and is basically a herald of Slanesh.
I didn't find a picture of it. Is there one in the book? No. Yes.
Yeah, it's a named character that's been around since for a while. Yeah. Well, that they are they're basically heralds of that god, fluff-wise. They just have a name. They just a named character of that, and it's I see. I don't know. It comes up with every Games Workshop book. They release something that has just has people scratching their head. And I'll bring up another one. You look at go to Fast Attack and you look up what's it called? I don't know if it's in Fast Attack or not, but it's basically that Tzeentch chariot. What's it? The burning chariot of Tzeentch or something like that.
Yeah, that's in heavy support.
Yeah. Okay. Heavy support, and then you look at the Exalted Flamer. That's not part of the chariot. That's something that's embarked in that chariot. But I'm pretty sure, from what I can tell, that doesn't have the relentless rule. So when you move the chariot, does that mean you can't fire the flamer?
The flame is
Like,
just the character. It's not the.
yeah, that's it. The flame is not the chariot. So you're in the chariot moves, and now you can't shoot your flame from it. Okay.
Yeah. So
And we
what?
got because the burning chariot of Tzeentch, you look at it, it's just the chariot, and then you basically get to pick who you kind of put in the chariot, whether you put the herald or you put the exalted flamer. And the exalted flamer is a crew. So it's basically as if you had like a rhino, and then you have your guys in the rhino. When you move, you can't fire your heavy weapons. I mean, I don't know. I haven't fully looked into it, but that is another thing that I noticed on forums that people are getting confused by. And it happens every time that Games Workshop releases a codex that they have things in there that are just missing rules. And then they have to FAQ rules in and take rules out later on. It happened with the Dark Angels one. They had to remove rules from certain models because they got things that they shouldn't have, and it's just like how do you know do they play
Yeah,
test these things, and do they just make rules up and just assume that they're in the book and that we're gonna read it
I
like
think
they
they're just like their spell checker. Grammar guy needs to get some glasses or something.
yeah. Um, so we're kind of stretching on a bit long here. Um, kind of got carried away about the heralds. Um, let's kind of just wrap things up by if yeah, Codex is every month. Okay, type in the chat that at least we get Codexes every month, but which I kind of agree. But it's not that hard to get them out with as little confusion as possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
I to end this off, unless we have any questions. Yes, I am mad, bro. Uh, let's
Hey guys, real quick, because I'm on live now. So hello, it's Fox. I've been attempting to TD this. Yeah, just wrap it up, and I have a couple announcements to make since it's a live show.
okay. So we'll wrap it up unless there's any questions. What do you think with the rest of the book in the Wargab? Like what Wargab pops out? Just go through that, and I think we're done.
Alright. Wait for it again.
The things that pop out to me are obviously the rewards. You get to, for like characters and sergeants and stuff, they get to spend X amount of points on rewards, and that's basically a random roll at the start of the game, and it gives you abilities, kind of like the Chaos table where you got to roll if you brought a certain upgrade at the start of the game. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you've also got they've just got so many upgrades that they can buy to just make it really characterful. And another thing that I saw was I'm not gonna find it here when I want it, but it's basically it's you use it, it puts a token on the field, and that thing can spawn. It comes out as an immobilized vehicle, and if you roll a 4 up, you spawn units of demons out of it, free.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
the Portoglyph.
Alright.
You use it. It's a 12, 12, 12, 1 hull point, immobilized vehicle. On a d6 roll of a 4 to a 6, you get d6 demons of your choice out of that. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I like the Soul Grinder. His gun. That gives you Skyfire.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's about it. They have their own psychic powers, and really that's about it. You get a lot of different rewards and stuff that you can kind of boost your characters up with. But if you're using that, it does get kind of expensive really quickly, and demons are very fragile. So you kind of want to be wary when you're putting all these points into a character that they do die quickly.
Yeah, you probably want to pick carefully.
So Fox, you ready to kind of say your?
Yeah, so anyone who showed up, thank you for watching first episode of Battle Bros Live. I attempted to keep up with the pictures as much as possible. It got kind of complicated at some point because you guys kind of just go, yeah, and I'm like, oh crap. But yeah,
Usually we just leave that out.
yeah, couple announcements to make. First off is we have a donate button on the blog now. So if you like any of the shows we are doing with Dice Troop, please donate. Any amount that you can is helpful. $1, $5, $10, anything is helpful. We will still provide the shows for free. Just donations would be appreciated, considering myself and Toxic invest a lot of time and money into this, and we would really like to do more giveaways, more shows, and make everything better kind of thing. So that's the first announcement. Next is 40k Vassell, Toxic. Are we going to try to make this kind of a weekly thing?
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. Just a time that we can sit down on Skype, hang out with people, and just play 40k.
Right. Okay, and the next thing is the show times, because I don't know if people have noticed, but we've been doing it around noonish, and the Hammer's going to be on tomorrow at noon. That's the plan. We're going to go live tomorrow at noon. This isn't permanent. I don't think it's going to be. It's just a temporary thing we're going to do because of some scheduling conflicts I have with certain equipment. However, I think I found the problem this weekend, so bear with us for 1 week on our unusual times, and hopefully we will get to some better, more efficient times. What else? Is there anything else? Oh yeah, do you wanna mention Blood Bowl League while we're here, or are we full up on that?
We're full on that, but if people are interested, we can open that up.
All right.
And if it goes good, we can have, kind of like a regular thing going.
All right, cool. So that's this week's episode of Battle Bros, and I'm a ghost, so Toxic, you take it away.
Okay. Thanks for watching. If you came on live, thank you doubly. And if everyone else, this will be posted like normal. Like always, we'll put links to our personal blogs. You'll see this on Dice Troop. I'll post a link to my commissions that I'm doing, so don't be afraid to send me stuff there. Again, I'm Toxic.
And I am Savage.
Okay, have a good one.
Yes, and have a good one.